Have you ever had someone act like the world owed them respect, only to completely disrespect you instead? I was shopping with my grandmother when a man thought it was okay to shove his cart into hers and call US rude. What I did next, well, let's just say he didn't see it coming. If you've ever wanted to get back at someone who's crossed the line, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around, because today's story is one of the most satisfying revenge tales you'll ever hear. I remember it like it was yesterday, the chaos of the supermarket during Thanksgiving week. The aisles were packed, carts clanging, people bumping into each other, and the air smelled of fresh bread and overpriced pumpkin pies. My grandmother and I were taking our time, carefully picking out everything we needed for our small, cozy holiday dinner. We had barely gotten to the cereal aisle when I heard it, a loud, frustrated harumph right behind me. Turning slightly, I caught sight of him, a man in his 40s, dressed in a cheap suit that probably cost more than his manners. He was barreling through the aisle like he owned the place, eyes darting impatiently, lips pressed in a tight line of annoyance. And then it happened. His cart smashed into the one my grandmother was holding. She stumbled slightly, and for a moment I thought maybe he didn't notice. But then I heard him mutter, loud enough for anyone to hear, "Some people really are rude." I froze. Did I just hear that right? He bumped into my grandmother, almost knocking her over, and he had the audacity to call us rude. My blood boiled. My heart was hammering, my hands tightened into fists, and I felt that familiar surge of protectiveness for my grandma. But I forced a calm smile, brushing it off as best as I could. We're better than him. Ignore it, I told myself. For the next few minutes, I tried to focus on our shopping, but I kept catching glimpses of him, wandering the aisles, sighing impatiently, muttering under his breath. Every time I saw him, I felt a little spark of something. Frustration? Anger? Maybe even a twisted sense of anticipation. Then inspiration hit. I whispered to my grandmother, "I'm going back to the produce section for a minute." And before she could question me, I bolted. I scanned the store and quickly spotted him again, heading toward the bathrooms. His cart was easily recognizable, stacked with bottled water, blocks of plastic that rattled with every movement. A plan started forming in my mind. I grinned to myself. I wheeled his cart, his precious fortress of impatience, away from him, slowly, deliberately, making sure it wouldn't get noticed immediately. I moved it across the store, down the long, busy aisles, until I found the perfect spot, tucked away in a quiet corner near the employee entrance, wedged carefully so no one could move it easily. And then I walked back toward my grandmother, my face calm, a little smile tugging at my lips like nothing had happened. Standing in the checkout line, I caught sight of him again. He was wandering, scanning the aisles, confusion etched across his face. His brows furrowed, lips pressed tight, muttering to himself. I watched his frustration grow, almost savoring the tiny satisfaction that bubbled up inside me. My grandmother, oblivious to my little act of justice, asked, "Why are you smiling so much?" I just shrugged, feigning innocence. "I remembered something funny," I said, and in that moment I felt it, a deep, sweet release. The universe had handed him a small taste of humility, and I got to witness it. He circled, backtracking, peering into aisles like a man searching for a lost treasure. His face twisted in annoyance, muttering louder now, "Where did I put my cart?" He asked nearby employees, who shrugged. They had no clue. I could practically hear his dignity shriveling with each passing second. And me? I stood there, calm, smiling to myself, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. Justice doesn't always have to be loud or violent. Sometimes it's as simple as a perfectly executed act of harmless payback. Sometimes karma doesn't need to be dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, small, and perfectly timed. And today it reminded me that you don't need to escalate every confrontation. You just need a little patience and creativity. If this story gave you chills or made you grin like I did, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? And, of course, subscribe for more stories that remind us sometimes justice really is sweet.